Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge, and welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. I'm sitting in the sanctuary of the Fledge today. I've got a T-shirt with Phil Collins flipping everyone off, but it's really a Frank and Ernest. If you remember that band, the punk rock band, I think they were punk rock back in the early 2000s, maybe early 2000s. So shout out to them. And I also want to give a shout out to LEAP, the Lansing Economic Area Partnership, and the hatching that's coming up. So go to thehatching.org to register your idea and get a chance to win $2,000. And last night, we went to Startup Grind Lansing, which was a great event at the Washington Avenue Advisors. And we met a bunch of friends there. The founders of the Black Wall Street of Lansing were there, and among other people, and it was a really, really good time. We had a lot of fun. So that's my shout outs for today. And today on the show, I have a guy I've never met until today, face to face like this. And we go back, it seems like many years, but it hasn't really been. And I just love everything he tweets. That's how I know you most. James, how you doing?
I'm well. Yeah. Thanks for inviting me on.
Oh, I'm so happy that you did. You know, we were talking a little bit before the show about, we met on Peppo, the social media app that was based on the OST crypto. And
it was a lovely app. I loved it. People from all over the world, getting little short stories of people's lives from all over the world. I was very sad when that went away.
Yeah, I was sad too. I mean, it was, we really rallied around it, and we were doing bounties with our Peppo and giving each other stuff and bartering with it, and really wanted to see it go further. We were hoping to be able to write some code that would interface with it, and we were excited. So, were you mad at Jason?
Sorry? Yeah. Well, no. I mean, yes, at first, but it was a sort of selfish thing. He did explain. They weren't getting the uptake. Somebody has to pay for the servers. Yeah. So it just didn't work. You've got to accept it. You just got to accept that it doesn't work. But he gave about a month's notice, was it, or 6 weeks notice that it's going to close. Yeah. And I kind of felt like it was never going to close anyway. And then suddenly you log on one day and it's off.
Yeah.
It's gone.
I was okay. I mean, I traded in for like $1,200 worth of Amazon gift cards. So, and then, rebuilt our kitchen in the Fledge here. So
nice.
We came out okay.
Well, that was what, I loved your videos on Peppo. Seeing what you were doing at the Fledge, it's sort of enabling people, it seemed, to sort of live up to whatever potential they might have. And you had vegetables growing and chickens in the yard and bands playing and art and this great community going on. I loved that. And you'd always go, hi, this is Jerry from the Fledge.
Yeah. I got made fun of for that all the time. Katie Kelly was on Peppo, and she said it was fun when it lasted. It was good times, and she says hi to you. She remembers you from Peppo.
Great.
So let's get into you a little bit. Can you tell us about you, like where you were born and raised? I don't know if we would understand the schools that you went to, but
I was born in a place called Congleton, which is a really nice town in the northwest of England. But I only vaguely remember that place. We moved away when I was only 4 years old. So when I remember it, everything's huge because I was only 4 years old. And we moved to a place. We moved to one place, and then we moved to another place called Weaverham, which is near a place called Northwich in Cheshire, which is also the northwest of England. And it was actually one of the largest villages in Europe. So it's still a village, not a town. I was really privileged to grow up there, if I'm honest. My parents had a nice house. It was a big, very old, really old house. rickety. I don't think my dad loved it as much as me because it was, constant work.
Yeah.
And I went to high school, Weaverham Comprehensive School, which is a state-funded. It was a good school. I didn't enjoy school. I didn't enjoy it. My sister left school, went to sixth form, where you do A levels, preparing you for university, and I was kind of directionless. I just did the same thing, following what my sister did, and I did my A levels at Sir John Dean's College. And I thought I'd failed. I was working at a place called ICI. My mum had got me the job working in this office for looking at the British standards of industry stuff, logging things, and I quite liked it. And
Are you saying you worked for BSI?
ICI, they were called.
Oh, ICI. Sorry about that. Yeah.
I can't even remember what ICI stands for, but it was a chemical manufacturing company. And I found out I'd actually got average A-level results, having thought I'd failed. So I phoned. We have this thing, if you apply for a university, might be different now. You apply for universities, they look at your predicted grades and accept you, and you have to get those grades to go. Well, I thought I'd failed, so I hadn't got in anywhere, and then I passed. So you just phone and do, it's this thing called clearing, and you phone round universities to find a spare place. Well, I went to the first one that said yes, which was the University of Luton, and I actually asked if I could study. I can't remember what I actually was looking for, but they suggested I study English and history. And then when I was there, it changed its name to humanities, and I ended up. And I quite liked university. That suited me, and I got a degree in the humanities, and lived in Luton for 15 years, which is, it's quite a rough town. Found it exciting when I was young, having grown up in a village, in this exciting town. And then I worked in Watford and Luton. I don't know whether it's like this in the United States, right? In the UK, we've got rivalries everywhere. So I'm from the northwest.
Oh, yes.
Northwest of England, right? You thought of as stupid, yeah. But the south of England, where I live now, we think up there everybody's really posh down here.
Yeah.
And then so also Luton and Watford. I worked in Watford, lived in Luton, but Watford hate Luton. Luton hate Watford. They hate each other, and the football club hate each other. And then a few things happened in my life, and I temporarily moved back in with my parents, age 34, and then went back down to Watford to continue a career that I'd sort of cut short after getting interested in conspiracy theories and 9/11, and yeah, that was an interesting time of my life. And then I moved down here to Yeovil in the southwest of England. Great move. I love it down here. Clean air, a bit of a slower pace of life. Well, a lot of a slower pace of life. Rolling hills, the beach, the cliffs. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
It sounds great. And the cliffs, is that where, or the beach or whatever, you're doing a lot of fishing?
I took up fishing, right? Right, so we've had this pandemic and we've all been locked down. It's been absolutely miserable. I know everybody's had the same problem. And as the restrictions were being lifted, I just thought, well, I'll just go down to place called West Bay. And I took my old fishing gear that I'd had since I was like 13. Still had it, carried it around with me all my life. I'm 46 now. And I stood in the sea barefoot, casting out and spinning, trying to catch didn't catch anything, but I really loved the lifestyle, the feeling of doing it. So I went into the fishing tackle shop, West Bay Fishing Tackle. Got to give them a shout out, right?
Yeah.
Total novice, and I just said, look, I want to catch a fish, and they sold me a fishing rod, a reel, all the equipment, showed me how to rig it all up. Told me what bait to get. It was $24.99, £25. So what, about $33, something like that. And he said, if you go to the end of the harbour there, you'll catch some fish. And I did. I caught about 10 fish. That's it.
Nice.
Absolutely hooked. And they were such nice people. You know, you felt comfortable telling him, I don't know anything, just help me out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were great. And I've met some really interesting people. All sorts of different people go fishing.
Yeah. So, what are you doing now? What are your projects that you're working on?
Well, I worked for the government's test and trace, mainly because I was bored during the lockdown. I mean, I needed an income as well.
Yeah.
And I applied for a job working for the test and trace. I won't speak badly about it, but it wasn't a great job. But somebody on my team, her husband worked for another company that was recruiting for the Office for National Statistics COVID infection survey. And I put myself forward for that. And what you do is you go to people's houses, they do a nose swab, a throat swab, nose swab. Now they're doing sort of, they prick their finger and drip blood into a tube, seal it all up. You're all got PPE on.
Yeah.
You're outside. You don't go into the house. It's really safe. And you ask them some questions. You've got demographic things, and then their behaviour, how many people they meet, do they wear a face covering, all that. And then you do a day of visits, and then you take all these samples to a courier, and then arrange your next day's visits. If you're working the next day, really flexible. You put yourself forward for 3 days a week, maximum of 6 days. They insist you have a day off, which I don't like, I would say. They shouldn't insist you have to have a day off, but they do. But I don't work. I generally do about 3 days a week, sometimes 4. And it's fantastic. I really enjoy it. I mean, I want COVID to be over, but I'll miss doing this. 1 minute you're at, a tower block doing a survey with these people, and then your next visit could be a stately home. And all of the people, what they have in common is they all want to help. They're all involved, and they feel a bit proud when it comes on the news, or our Prime Minister mentions, the Office for National Statistics data. That's us. That's what we're doing, and you do feel a bit of pride being involved with it. And all the people are lovely, and I've started liking people. To be honest, I used to be pretty unsociable. But I don't know. Maybe it's down here in the southwest. I don't know. But I enjoy meeting these people. So I do that sort of 3 days a week, sometimes 4. And I'm also working on something called the Franchise Network with 3 other guys. One of them I've known for many, many years. He was in the military, and then he left the military, was a lorry driver, and then he became a recruitment consultant for the guy he was driving for. And then he set his own recruitment business up. And I've known him since he was a lorry driver. And then the other guys I've not known quite as long. His very good friend and colleague I've known for a lot of years as well. And there's a new guy, and their company's a TG Recruitment and Fresh Technology. Is the guy who does their IT. I've not known him as long. Great guy. He's also interested in crypto, and so that's nice to actually meet people in the real world who are interested in it, because I don't meet many. A lot of people just see it as weird, magic money sort of thing. So they're my 2 main projects at the moment, and I would really like to carry on doing some work that's involved in going to people's houses and asking them questions, data gathering. It's really quite good fun.
Yeah.
Not very stressful.
Maybe you could canvass and run for office or something.
Oh, well, I tried to get into politics. So I was involved with the local Liberal Democrats, and I did a little bit of that leaflet dropping, basically, for them.
Yeah.
And then I was meeting them for pint and politics, a chat in the pub once a month, and then the pandemic happened. But I did actually put myself forward to be put forward as a councillor, and they interviewed me, and totally understand why they didn't put me forward. I'm not that persuasive a person, and I've got no I've got no experience in politics, but they wanted me to, help and carry on. But the Lib Dems decided I'll probably rejoin, but I left the Lib Dems, not because they didn't put me forward, but they decided that they weren't going to campaign to rejoin the EU. And it's not that I necessarily think we should, it's just there should be a political party that's saying that. And they would be the only ones. They tried very hard to stop Brexit. And so I thought, I didn't throw my toys out of the pram, but I just thought I'm going to leave for a bit. I might come back.
Yeah. So we were talking before the show about kind of the similarities between the Brexit and is it the Remainers?
Remainers or Ramonas, as the insult is.
Oh.
Because we're moaning about leaving. And Leavers, or Brexiteers, they like to do because they're heroic. That's the division in UK politics, and it feels like it's 50-50, to be honest. And I think you've got the same problem in the United States of having polarized political debate like we have here. You're either, if you don't think we should have left the EU, anything bad that happens because we've left the EU is like, well, that's your fault for saying it would happen, and it's only vitriolic on the internet. You've got to always remember this as well. Day-to-day life, people you meet in the street, people are decent human beings, and most people are just interested in putting food on the table and keeping a roof over their and being played online. No, it's just another world. And I've noticed, because of Twitter and this fantastic, the internet is, I love the internet. You get to see the discussion in around the United States as well, and it seems very similar. If you liked Trump, so Remainers can look down on Leavers, as if they're more righteous, and it seems similar with the Democrat and not really a Republican though, Democrat and Trump supporter type.
Yeah.
And the person who supports Trump, like the person I'm talking about on the internet who supports leaving the EU, can't really explain why, other than they like the fact that you're upset about it. I mean,
yeah, I think that I follow the all of the debates. I have so many friends that are from the UK that from my days in Dubai that I'm always been interested in the politics and what's happening with your economy and just the social issues, I guess. So I like following that and saying, man, that's a lot like how we feel and how we act and all of that.
Well, the interesting thing, one terrible thing that's happened is family fishing businesses are just going out of business left, right, and centre. They can't sell their, the shellfish to France where we used to sell it, and people in Britain. I mean, I eat anything. I love eating a wide variety of food, but Britons generally don't eat the fish that are in our waters that we've campaigned to take back, and also because we put trade barriers up, our fishermen can't sell the stuff they're catching, and they're going out of business. And Morrison's supermarket, who are renowned for having a good fish counter, have bought their own fishing boat, because I think they can see that we're not going to have a fishing industry. It's tragic.
Yeah, it is. I don't remember how long ago that the EU formed, but wasn't there a big debate at the beginning too about whether you should even join? And how
there was a referendum, and now I don't remember the exact figures, but there was a referendum for joining the common market. It was in the 1970s, might have been 1975, just after I was born, I think. But the common market was always going to evolve. There was a big lie told that, well, it was only the common market, it was all about trade, but that's not true. There's evidence. The Prime Minister wrote to every household at the time to explain that this was about ever closer union. It was to stop us going to war, because countries that trade with each other tend not to like going to war with each other. And And what the Remain side did wrong was would say things like, you know, the ever closer political union was a myth. It wasn't. I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't. They should have said, yes, we do believe in ever closer political union. What does it matter to the average man on the street? I don't understand. But there are some people who voted to leave who I can respect. I mean, I know one guy who voted to leave because he believed power should be decentralized and localized, and to me that's a rational reason, you know, and I can respect that view. At least you're giving me something, you're giving me a reason. It's not based on waving flags and fantasies.
Yeah.
But what we've got now is a government who have been elected by about 46% of the population, or maybe the 46% of the voting people who voted. So and they've got an 80-seat majority, and they're fucking everything up.
So, you know, I'm also curious about, is there a racism part of that? Like, I've heard the arguments about, you know, refugees or immigrants coming in and stealing jobs and stuff like that, and you'd be able to cut that off. Is that true, or?
Yes. Well, it's a bit similar to the difference between people behaving on the internet and people in real life. Most people you meet, they don't act racist. The free movement of people, which meant freedom for us as well, did mean that in the UK there was a downward pressure on wages. That's just true. The more people are available to do a job means the rate is going to be lower. Unfortunately, what wasn't put across well was the more people that are here, the more ideas we have, the more businesses get opened, the more jobs there are, and the more taxes paid, and the better public services we should be able to have. But that argument wasn't put across. So, you know, the Remain argument was all based on, it'll be really bad if we leave. It didn't concentrate on, this is why it's good.
Yeah.
And then I tell you what, another thing you get is, if you say, you know, I don't think it was a good idea that we left the EU, the response on the internet, the response is, oh, you love the EU. So, no. I mean, the EU is just an institution. How can I love it? It was just a bureaucracy to help us work together, and
Right.
love it. It just seemed like, I don't understand why we've decided to cut our ties with our closest neighbours, friends and allies.
Yeah.
But we have.
Yep. It's I feel it's a lot the same here in the US. So in the crypto space, I think that your franchise network, does that have a crypto twist to it?
I may have mentioned something in some messaging. Not at the moment, right?
Oh, okay.
It's based on having a network of owner managed agencies. There is a possibility of because all I'll say is, because of smart contract technology, there is a possibility that we could get involved in crypto at some point. I want to be a little bit cagey about that.
Okay, no worries. So what are you, besides that then, we'll put that to the side. What are you doing in the crypto space right now?
I love crypto, right? I'm technologically competent, yeah, but I'm not an expert in anything, right? So I've got a vague idea of how blockchain technology works. I know how Bitcoin works. I love Bitcoin. I mean, I love it. It's like, I love the whole, it's a little bit mischievous, a little bit rebellious. And I think the financial institutions are really scared of it. But it has its problems. So, you know, I've got some crypto. I've got some Bitcoin. I love Ethereum. I've got a little plot of land on Decentraland where I display one NFT. I've actually got two. Haven't got around to putting the other one up on my wall yet. Decentraland, I don't go in very often. Now and again, I've got a spare hour and I'll just go in, have a look around, and month to month. It's a bit like Dubai. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the 1980s, Dubai was just a beach, wasn't it?
Right.
Big desert, and now it's a city. It's like that. It went when I first visited. It was very sparse. And you go in now, there's buildings everywhere. There's people walking around chatting. So I love that. And so they use their decentraland currency, which is mana.
Yeah.
And I wish I'd bought some the other day, but I didn't have any spare cash. But it was 41 pence a coin, and man, that's cheap. 41 pence, what about 55 cents, something like that. And now it's about 61p last time I looked. Should be about a pound. Should be about a pound a coin, but I've got no spare cash at the moment to put in. I'm loving Cardano.
I say Cardano, but
Cardano. That's like a sort of alternative to Ethereum.
yeah.
Ethereum's got. I don't really understand how it won't have the same problems with gas fees, but the gas fees are killing me with Ethereum. I like going on Uniswap. I like buying NFTs. I even thought maybe I can make an NFT. Maybe I could make one. But it's costing like 80 quid to mint one. And
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I was doing Unifty and using XDAI, and you can set it to a penny, and that's all it costs.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So Unifty is pretty cool. That's where
Unifty.
Yeah. And I have a dream that will make the show into an NFT. All of the different shows, like a trading card. I'm actually building a website right now to play around with it. And the smart contract would mean that you and I would split any proceeds for the life of it. So and each show is going to be set up that way.
And I absolutely love all these ideas that are in the space. So when I was a student, I used to watch the X-Files. And there was an episode where Scully said to Mulder, "Have you checked your emails this morning?" And I went, "Oh, as if," to my girlfriend of the time, as if, emails, yeah. And then look, completely missed that one, that it would replace mail. Also with cameras on phones, when you got the Nokia 3210 and I think it had a camera on it, and you'd take a grainy picture, and it was, what's the point of having a camera on a phone? And now look, it's the same with crypto. It's going to revolutionize money. It can't be uninvented. It can't be stopped. In 10 years' time, it's going to be, there'll be things done that we can't imagine with programmable money. And I love that. And I'm not missing this boat.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I mean, there's so many things that could happen just with the horizon we can see right now.
Yeah.
And your analogy is perfect. Everyone gets out over here, gets AOL, and they think I can play chess with somebody and I can read the news, and there's this cool little messaging thing they call email. Yeah. And that's all they thought it would ever be. And no, we're not going to transact. We're not going to buy stuff. We're not going to trust each other. And now we trust more.
That was an incredible testament to human behavior. It's quite astonishing that the commerce works, because that really required trusting people to uphold and it worked. So people are trustworthy. Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't have Amazon today.
Right. Yeah. So are you doing anything with like DAOs or any financing stuff in the crypto space?
Not really. I mean, I've not got DAO. I've got, hold on a minute, what's it called? Algorand.
Oh, yeah.
And if you get an Algorand wallet, you're earning 7%. But I hold hands up, right, and be honest. I don't really understand why, it's a bit, I find that a bit boring. I love the excitement of being able to bypass financial institutions and give credit to people who would not have got credit. And I may still try and take this forward. I was imagining a crypto asset for the homeless, and the blockchain could track, he lent me a cigarette, he lent me a bag of weed, they gave me a bed for the night, and because a lot of conflict is between who owes who what and who's pinched what off who.
Yeah.
And I actually tried to do a bit of market research, but it wasn't very forthcoming. I ended up having a chat about buildings being 50,000 years old, and I just didn't think. I may try again. Apparently, 80% of homeless people have a smartphone.
Yep. Well, it's funny you should say this, because we're using Fledgecoin, which is our crypto that we developed, for time banking and bartering and all of that.
Brilliant.
And we've got some landlords ready to take it for partial rent. We have we pay out Fledgecoin if you go and take advantage of different services.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's something that is working, and we're really starting in the ex-offender population, people who are let out of prison and are on parole, to incentivize them to stay compliant with the terms of their parole. So we reduce recidivism, which then opens up dollars for us to do more social or public programs that help people. And we because of that, we're in the homeless space. And we are writing different verticals: homeless, substance use, veterans, returning citizens, and incentivizing participating in the services that can help you.
Yeah, I see. That's what I love about the Fledge, and why I follow the Fledge, because it isn't just, oh, we're a charitable thing. It's actually doing things that help, and it's quite inspiring. You know, we need it over here. I've got to do more.
Hey, let's do a virtual one. We could start out, and then we're starting a new Fledge in Madison, Wisconsin, and we start them out virtually. So we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know. What's your mission? What are you like? Is it just you could just say fishing and then it rhymes and it's
I mean, this is my mission, fishing. I don't know about mission. I mean, I don't think I can change the world. I think if people could live more simply. I've got a pretty simple life now. I may well try to get back into politics just to talk to people, because there has to be a way that people can, at an earlier stage in life than we have currently, can own their house, own the roof over their head, and not have to suffer the stress of, what if I lose my job? What if this happens? You know, we shouldn't, as a civilized society, we shouldn't have people who are living with the constant threat of possible homelessness. There's so many, you know, and again, this is another reason I love Bitcoin specifically. It's a store of value. If you save a day's wages as a 20-year-old today, you put it in a savings account, which the government tells you should do. By the time you're 40, it's worth nothing. There's no point. Put it in Bitcoin, that's different. Buy gold, that's different. Buy an asset, that's different. The problem with capitalism is not enough people have any capital.
Right.
You know? And you've got to participate.
Well, saying you want to get back in politics gives me the opportunity to throw this comment up. Go Jake, you'd make a great Lib Dem. And it's from Penny. So, what's something you do every damn day to just get through the day?
I do something with my garden every day. It really grounds me. You know, even if it's clearing cat poo out of the raised bed, you know, and swearing about that, but you've done something, and it has an end result where you're going to end up with food on your plate. It's probably healthier than anything you're going to buy, because it's so fresh, straight off the plant. You know what's in the soil. You know what you haven't sprayed on the plant. And so I garden every day, even if it's a few minutes, even if it's raining. And another thing I do, I find myself doing, I constantly remind myself about people are decent people. And although I love the internet, it does always, people will take a snapshot in time, like a video of somebody doing something abhorrent, and then forevermore that person is known for that one thing they did, and everybody's done bad things. So I try to remind myself every day that internet isn't what's real. It's what's outside the front door is what's real, and people are pretty decent.
Yeah. I love that message you keep saying, because it's true. People, and if they're not acting decent, it's usually something broken in their life that we'd be better off helping them if we really were on, this mission to unite or to be together or to be more compassionate and kind. Helping people is a lot better than pointing out their holes and, rubbing it in. I love that message. We daisy chain the shows together, and yesterday, actually, this is it's making me raise another question. Is there a food security issue in Great Britain?
In as much as we don't produce, we're not self-sufficient in food. I can't remember the percentage, but we produce, I think it's either 40 or 60, but either way, that's bad. And we rely on trade. Now, when you say there could be food shortages,
mm-hmm.
the other side pretend you're saying everybody's going to starve to death. Now, we're certainly not at that stage, but there are malnourished people in this country. But there's going to be shortages of certain types of food. And so, no, we're not at the point where there's a food security issue, but we could get there. It could happen. And people think you're insane when you say it.
Yeah.
But at least these things happen. You only have to look at history.
Yeah. The gentleman on the show yesterday, his name is Jeff. He builds these weekend survival kits for kids who get their meals at school, but on the weekend they're not in school, so they need supplement. They need a safety net.
Yeah.
And he has a question for me to pass to you, and that question is, if you could eat at any restaurant, go back to it, it's one that you've already been at, anywhere in the world, where would you go and what meal would you have?
I watched that show, and this is a really difficult question for me to answer because there's so many places that I've eaten that I have loved. And I'm going to say there was I stayed a few times at a pretty maybe a 1-star rated hotel in Pattaya, Thailand, called the V&M Terrace, and they did the best cow pad moo, pork fried rice, I have ever eaten. And I could have eaten that every day. I could have eaten it for breakfast. I could have eaten it for dinner. And and they'd serve it with, it was quite sweet and so hot there. And you'd have a little side order with these chopped up chilies in fish sauce, and you'd put as much or as little on as you want to make it spicy. And like the hotter it was, the more spicy you wanted it, because it cooled you down.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you did the thing that you shouldn't do when it's really hot, and you drink a load of beer as well. But I've got very fond memories of that pork fried rice, the hot chilies, and the beer sing. Not Singer beer that a lot of Westerners call it, beer sing.
Beer sing. What was there anything else that happened when you were at dinner that you want to talk about?
Yeah, okay. There was this guy, right? He worked on the oil rigs. I mean, I'm not sure how much oil is there, but anyway, he was an oil worker. He knew his stuff, and he basically lived in Thailand. And when he worked in the Middle East, it was easier than living in the UK, and much nicer lifestyle. And he talked me into investing in this company called Canadian Wildcat, or something related to Canadian Wildcat, because they were exploring for oil in the Falklands. And he knew what he was doing. And I put 1,500 quid in it, and within weeks it was worth fuck all.
Oh, I thought maybe he just disappeared on you.
No, I mean, no, I probably didn't see him again, but it wasn't because he disappeared. It's because I was going there. I was a friend of mine got married to a Thai girl, and I went there to see them get married, and loved it, and then went there a few times. But I kind of stopped going. Life changed.
Yeah.
But he was a big guy. I'm not sure I would have confronted him.
Well, on Twitter, you could confront him on Twitter.
Yeah, I might try and find him.
Tomorrow on the show, I've got a gentleman named David Finch, and he's going to talk about boats and goats, and he's actually broadcasting from a boat tomorrow. And I think he has a goat, but I'm not quite sure. What question would you like me to pass to David?
What was his name? David?
Yeah.
Well, David, I would like to ask you, I hope you're interested in it. If you could grow any plant, doesn't have to be a vegetable, but any plant at all, regardless of climatic conditions, on your boat, what plant would it be, and why?
Yeah, I wonder how quickly he's going to say weed and then rethink that answer.
It's got a good use case.
Yeah. So I think he's going to like that question. I would. I don't know. I'm actually thinking he might be growing something on the boat.
That'd be great. There's a YouTube channel I watch actually, which is a woman who lives, I think it's London, but somewhere on a canal barge in the UK. And it's basically a floating garden. It's absolutely fantastic. She grows so much in a tiny amount of space.
That would be amazing to just have that limited space and have to figure out all of the techniques and what grows and what doesn't. That's like a dream of mine, and just be out in the middle of the ocean, and then real simple, the simple life.
The simple life is the best life.
I'm changing how I do this next question today, just a little bit. Happiness, sadness, joy, or hope? What word resonates with you right now, and what do you want to say about it? Like, for example, if you picked happiness, what is happiness to you, and are you happy, or something like that?
I'm quite happy, and I'm quite hopeful. I think content might be slightly better word than happy. I'm generally quite a positive person, and like I mentioned earlier, I'm happy with the area I live in and the beautiful countryside, and I'm hopeful because although there's so many problems facing our societies, and sometimes I get worried by the prospect of systemic collapse and things like that, there are so many sort of glimmers of hope in little corners, crypto being one. The pandemic showed us new ways of working. I love this sort of thing. I love chatting with people. I've met more people during the pandemic than in that year than I ever did in any year that there wasn't a pandemic. Just by video chatting, and what it opens up is the ability for companies to recruit from all over the world. They've got the biggest talent pool to recruit from. You don't have to look for people who can drive their hydrocarbon burning vehicle 60 miles to an office to sit there and pretend they're working for half of the day, only to go home, get stuck in traffic. We can work and live differently.
Ironically, the pandemic may have opened up borders just in a different way more than anything else has, including the EU.
Yeah, and I think we need to travel less. We need to fly less. We're going to have to. If we don't stop willingly, nature's going to stop us anyway.
Yeah, we're not protecting the earth. We're protecting the species destroying the earth, and she's going to take care of us if she wants or if she needs to. She is indifferent to us. Thank you so very much for coming on the show and taking the time. It's what is it, 7:30 or something, 7:45 around
Oh,
that time.
yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Time flies, Jerry.
So thanks for doing this in the evening for us and coming in on our time. You know how us Americans are. We're the center of the world.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me. Really flattering, to be honest. I love talking.
I love talking too. And again, I love your Twitter feed. I like following you. And let's hodl, right? Or biddle, whichever one we like.
Hodl.
And yeah, check out Fledgecoin if you'd like to, and check out that BitClout if you'd like to.
I've checked out BitClout. Fledgecoin, where is it?
The Fledge.community.
Fledge.community. Can you buy it?
Yeah, you can, but I'm going to give you some for being on the show for one thing. And I'd prefer you didn't buy it right now until we do an upgrade to something, because we're going to go into the XDI network. And the other thing is, I don't know how, I mean, it might not be kosher for you to buy from me like that. From over there. So I'd like to do a little bit better job at knowing that before I get you in trouble or me in trouble.
No problems. I'll keep my eye on Fledgecoin.
So see, there are responsible cryptocurrency developers out here.
Well, think about Dogecoin, right? Think about Dogecoin, Elon Musk, right? Dogecoin. Everyone's up in arms because, it was made as a joke, right? And it's a shit coin. Well, it's not a shit coin anymore. People are using it. People are buying things with it. And Elon Musk says it could be. Well, why can't it be a currency? It's just like a fiat currency. It's got no limit on how many can be. Why can't that be used if dollars can be used?
Yeah. We've printed $3 trillion.
I'd love it if it was. I would love it if it was the global currency, Doge.
That would be something, wouldn't it? So everyone, I will see you tomorrow. We'll talk to David about boats and goats, and every damn day at 2 p.m. Oh, I should also mention this was episode 259 in a row. I've got 26 scheduled in the next couple of months, so that leaves us with 80 spots open. So fear of missing out, FOMO. If you want to get on the show, you got 80 slots to register for. So Jace, what would you like to take us out with?
Oh, God. I'm not going to do a song.
A dance?
No, look, I don't know. I'm not good at philosophy. Just try to, everyone on the internet, if anybody is watching this, people are decent. We need, people aren't just straight, gay, pink hair, criminal, people are decent. When you just meet people in the street, you've got to notice, and actually consciously realize that, hey, I was wrong. It's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, I love it. That's super profound and super important message. Thank you so very much. Everyone, we will see you later. Stick with me as we go off.